Hello, good evening, and welcome to Story Time with me, Sid. I'm so glad to see you. We are live. Oh, we were live at 6:45, but this is actually just a recording. The stream, the internet connection was unstable. So I'm recording this story, and I shall actually, going forward, make sure that I record all the stories in future, just in case there are any issues, and that way you can pick it up on my YouTube channel right here. So thank you very much for your patience. If you did watch live and you missed bits of the story or the connection wasn't very good, it wasn't your fault, it was all mine. Now this is going to be the first part of Horrid Henry's Nits, so it's good that you get to see this again because you can remind yourself throughout the whole weekend at your own leisure, for your own pleasure, about the story, and then you can catch up with part 2 with me live at 6:45 right here on my YouTube channel. So let's get cracking. Chapter 1, Horrid Henry's Nits. Oh, first of all, let's make sure that we are superheroes of calm and we sit quietly and without moving for 45 seconds so that we can learn to defeat distraction. Distraction is the enemy, and we are going to be superheroes of calm, aren't we? Yes, we are. So let's get comfy, sit down nice and quietly and nice and still, and we'll start the 45 seconds in 2, 1, now. And that's 45 seconds. Well done to you if you manage to stay still and quiet both at the same time. That would definitely make you a superhero of calm in my book. And if you didn't manage that, don't worry, it's just a practice. We'll keep on trying. It takes a long time, to get it right. Okay, so have you got your favourite cuddly toy? Are you sitting comfortably? Relax, and let's get to it. Chapter 1. Scratch. Scratch. Dad scratched his head. "Stop scratching, please," said Mum. "We're eating dinner." Mum scratched her head. "Stop scratching, please," said Dad. "We're eating dinner." Henry scratched his head. "Stop scratching, Henry," said Mum and Dad. "Uh-oh," said Mum. She put down her fork and frowned at Henry. "Henry, do you?" "Not," said Henry. "Come over to the sink, Henry," said Mum. "Why?" said Henry. "I need to check your head." Henry dragged his feet over to her as slowly as possible. It's not fair, he thought. It wasn't his fault that Nits loved him. Henry's head was a gathering place for nits far and wide. They probably held knit parties there, and foreign nits visited him on their holidays. Mum dragged the knit comb across Henry's head. She made a face and groaned. "You're crawling with nits, Henry," said Mum. "Oh, let's see," said Henry. He always liked counting how many nits he had. 1, 2, 3, 45, 46, 47. He counted, dropping them onto a paper towel. "It's not polite to count nits," said his younger brother, Perfect Peter, wiping his mouth with his spotless napkin. "Is it, Mum?" "It certainly isn't," said Mum. Chapter 2. Dad dragged the knit comb across his head and made a face. "Ugh," said Dad. Mum dragged the knit comb through her hair. "Bleach," said Mum. Mum combed Perfect Peter's hair. Then she did it again. And again. And again. "No nits, Peter." Perfect Peter smiled modestly. "It's because I wash and comb my hair every night," said Peter. Henry scowled. True, his hair was filthy, but then, "Nits love clean hair," said Henry. "No, they don't," said Peter. "I've never, ever had nits." We'll see about that, thought Henry, when no one was looking. Henry picked a few nits off the paper towel, and then he wandered over to Peter's hair and casually fingered a lock of his hair. Leap! Scratch! Scratch! "Mum!" squealed Peter. "Henry's pulling my hair!" "Stop it, Henry," said Dad. "I wasn't pulling his hair," said Henry indignantly. "I just wanted to see how clean it was." "And it is so lovely and clean," added Henry sweetly. "I wish my hair was as clean as Peter's." Peter beamed. It wasn't often that Henry said anything nice to him. "Right," said Mum grimly. "Everyone upstairs. It's shampoo time." Chapter 3. "No!" shrieked Horrid Henry. He hated the stinky, smelly, horrible shampoo much more than he hated having nits. Only today his teacher, Miss Battleaxe, had sent home a nit letter. "Beware! Nits, 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 nits. Nits have been seen in school. Get rid of them. Wash your hair with supersonic nit blasting shampoo, please, or else." Naturally, Henry had crumpled the letter and thrown it away. Nit shampoo on his head again. What rotten luck that Mum had spotted him scratching. "It's the only way to get rid of nits," said Dad. "But it never works," screamed Henry, and he ran for the door. Mum and Dad grabbed him, then they dragged him, kicking and screaming, to the bathroom. "Nits are living creatures," howled Henry. "Why kill them?" "Because," said Mum. Because they're blood-sucking nits," said Dad. Blood-sucking? Henry had never thought of that. In the split second that he stood still to consider this interesting information, Mum emptied the bottle of supersonic nit-blasting shampoo over his hair. "No!" screamed Henry. Frantically, he shook his head. There was shampoo on the door. There was shampoo on the floor. There was shampoo all over Mum and Dad. The only place there was no shampoo was on Henry's head. "Henry, stop being horrible!" yelled Dad, wiping shampoo off his jacket. "What a big fuss over nothing," said Peter. Henry lunged at him. Mum seized Henry by the collar and held him back. "Now, Peter," said Mum, "that wasn't a kind thing to say to Henry, was it? Not everyone is as brave as you." "You're right, Mum," said Perfect Peter. "I was being rude and thoughtless. It won't happen again. I'm so sorry, Henry." Mum smiled at him. "That was a perfect apology, Peter." "As for you, Henry," she sighed, "we'll get more shampoo tomorrow." "Phew," thought Henry, giving his head an extra good scratch. Safe for one more day. Chapter 4. The next morning at school, a group of parents burst into the classroom waving the nit letter and shouting, "My Margaret doesn't have nits. She never ever has and never will. How dare you send home such a letter?" shrieked Moogie Margaret's mother. "The idea! My Josh doesn't have nits," shouted his mother. "My Toby doesn't have nits. Some nasty child in this class isn't bug busting," said his father. Miss Battleaxe squared her shoulders. "Rest assured, the culprit will be found," she said. "I have declared war on nits." Scratch. 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 Miss Battleaxe spun round. Her beady eyes swiveled over the class. "Who's scratching?" she demanded. Silence. Henry bent over his worksheet and tried to look studious. "Henry is," shouted Moody Margaret. "Liar!" shouted Horrid Henry. "It was William." Weepy William burst into tears. No, it wasn't," he sobbed. Miss Battleaxe glared at the class. "I'm going to find out once and for all who's got nits," she growled. I don't. "Silence," ordered Miss Battleaxe. "Nora, the knit nurse, is coming this morning. Who's got nits? Who's not bug busting? We'll find out soon." Uh-oh, thought Henry. Now I'm sunk. There was no escaping Nitty Nora, Bug Explorer, and her ferocious combs. Everyone would know he had the nits. Rude Ralph would never stop teasing him. He'd be shampooed every night. Mum and Dad would find out about all the knit letters that he'd thrown away. He could, of course, get a tummy ache double quick and be sent home. But Nitty Nora had a horrible way of remembering whose head she hadn't checked and then combing it in front of the whole class. He could run screaming out of the door saying he'd caught mad cow disease. But somehow he didn't think Miss Battleaxe would believe him. There was no way out. This time he was well and truly stuck. Unless suddenly Henry had a wonderful, spectacular idea. It was so wicked and so terrible that even Horrid Henry hesitated. But only for a moment. Desperate times call for desperate measures. That's the end of chapter 4. We will go into chapter 5 on Monday. Yes, Monday, live at 6:45. Story time with Sid. Hopefully this was a nice, clean recording and you enjoyed it, and you can look at it all through the weekend just to remind yourself of the first half and catch up with me for the second half. Don't forget, if you want to give a shout out to your favourite cuddly toy, then send in a picture of your cuddly, just your cuddly, not the kids, just the cuddly. Send it in to me on Twitter or Facebook and give us a name, give us your name, the name of your cuddly. Let us know what you like about them, and I'll show them right here at Storytime with Sid on Monday or someday next week. Look forward to seeing you then. Have a safe and lovely weekend. Stay healthy. Take care. Bye.